Hey everyone, welcome back with another exciting tutorial, and I'm actually excited about this tutorial myself. I'll be showing you guys how to automate asset import process in Unity. So I'll just show you how we do it the manual way, and just take your Fbx file, and I just have a T-pose of a model, so I'm going to drag and drop and let Unity do its thing. So here's your model, it's loaded over here. And as you can see, it doesn't have any textures, so that's fine because we need to come over here and do all our settings. So you start with the model, and we say we're not going to import any cameras and no lights because we're going to be creating our own. So you do that, then you hit apply. Alright, so you're going to go to rig. Since it's a humanoid, so what I'll do is I'll say humanoid, and we're going to hit apply again. You go to animations. If there's any animations on it, you can import those. Since this is a T-pose, I don't want to import any animations, so I'll just uncheck that, and then I'll say apply. Then we'll go to materials. So now what you gotta do is, from within this FBX, you have to extract your textures. So you're gonna make sure this is checked, and then you're gonna go extract textures. You're gonna pick where you wanna extract those textures to. So we're gonna come choose check textures, and then I'll just select folder, and then and then we'll just say fix these now. That's just a warning about normals. And if I come here to the texture folder, you can see all these have been extracted. So and then you have to create a material and then apply those to your model. So it's okay for 1 or 2 models, but imagine you have 20 models in your game and you have to do this over and over again. So now we're going to see how we can automate this through some code. Okay, so now that we have seen the manual process, we're going to do the same through code. In order to write any editor code, what you have to do is you come over here into the assets folder. We're going to create a new folder called editor. It must be called editor for Unity to understand. Then we're gonna come over here and we're gonna create a new C# script, and we'll just call it model importer. Right, just like that. So what then you're gonna do is just hit enter, and it's gonna open in Visual Studio, or you're gonna hit OK. Alright, so I don't need any of these functions since I won't be using them, and I don't need none of that. I'm just gonna hit save. So in order to write code that you can use for editor purposes, you have to bring in the Unity editor namespace. We will just say Unity editor, just like that. And now what we can do is we need to inherit from this class, which we can then use to do our processing on our model. It's called asset post processor. This class has a bunch of methods. One of them that interests us is on pre-process model. So this function will be called by Unity before the model actually comes into the editor or into Unity and things happen to it. So this is where we can use it to do our settings, whatever settings we want. For starters, let's just debug something to the console. And one of the property that we get is the asset path. It's right here, and this will just pretty much tell us, well, whatever the path is. So if I hit back the editor, there's no error, so that's good. I'm gonna go to the character folder, and then I'm just gonna open and drag and drop this model. If everything went well, you can see we have this log message which tells us the path of where this model is. So that means the scripting actually works. So that's a good start. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get a reference to our model importer. Model importer is what controls all these properties. If I come back here, click on this model, all these properties here, model, rig, animation, and more, you can control those through the model importer class. So I'll come back over here and I'll say model importer, if I can spell. And what you get is an asset importer. We're gonna cast it to model importer. So asset importer is the base class from from where model importer, texture importer, and I think there's another one they inherit. We're gonna get a handle to that, and we're gonna get cracking. So the first thing we need to do is turn off the camera and the lights. So I'm just gonna add some comments. I'll say model settings, and then you can say model importer dot, and then you'll say import camera, you'll say false, and we'll say model importer dot import lights. We're turning those off, and I'll just hit save. I'll come back over here. Now for the script to run again, we need to re-import our model, and as you can see, the lights and cameras turned off. Lights off, cameras off. Alright, so now what we're gonna do is, if you look at the rig tab, we have a choice between different kind of animation types. So what we need is a humanoid for this character. We're gonna do just that. I'll come over here and I'll say rig settings. I'll say model importer dot animation type, and this is an enum, so we're just gonna pick the right enum, which is human. That's that. I'm gonna click back here and I'll re-import. If things work, you see it turned into humanoid. And then we have animation. Now this is a T-pose, so I don't need any animations on this. If it's another, let's say you have your other clips where you're, let's say, doing jumps and running, then for those you need animation. So you can switch that on and off as you like. So I'll just say animation settings, and then I'll say model importer dot, and I'll say import animation. I'll say false, we don't need that. And after that, well, let's see if this works actually. So I'll just come over here and then I'll just re-import. There you go, animation turn off. So now this, the last thing is we need to extract all the texture from this Fbx file, and to do that we're actually gonna call a function. So I'll just say materials, and we will just say model importer dot extract textures. Now what this needs is, this needs a path to where the texture will be extracted. So if you look on your left side, I already have a folder with textures, or folder for textures. Currently it's empty, so we're gonna use this to our advantage. So I'll just say assets, and then we will do a / and I'll say textures. Right? Now this function returns a bool. So if I just select it, hit F12, it returns a bool. That means we can use that to see if it was successful or not. So I will do if, let's do that. So I'll actually do if not successful. If Unity was not able to extract our textures, then we would just log an error, and we would say failed to extract textures. Right? So that will help us with that. And I'm just gonna hit save. We'll come back over here, select my character folder. I'll do re-import. As you can see, it's extracting the textures. This is the yeah, we'll just say fix now, so that's fine. And if I come over into my texture folder, I got all my textures, which is good. So now you can just create a material and assign it to your model. And that's how simple it is to use code the Unity editor with custom behavior. I'll put the code on GitHub, and I'll put a link in the description so you can use it. And over and out.